A High-Pitched Cry for Help by Problematic_Lana on AO3. Chapter 15. Shopping Trip. It was a special type of day. You see, to properly care for a kid, you need things. Plenty of things, apparently. The couple had managed quite well with what they had at home, and with whatever they could ask of Recovery Girl or Nomuri. But now that the little problem child was well enough for going out, it was time to get him some things. Truth be told, the most excited person in the car was the driver. Mike was shivering at the mere idea of buying their kid things. He really wanted to spoil him. The kid deserved it anyways. Being both heroes as they were, they had a nice trust fund, and were willing to use most of it now. They were established already, so money wasn't a problem. However, Aizawa made Hisashi promise to not buy things just because. At the very least, the kid had to like it. There was no use in decorating his room if Mike liked it, but he didn't. It was his now. No more a guest room. The day actually began when Aizawa woke up to an email from Nezu, his principal from his and Mike's school days. The rat/dog/bear had somehow, probably through the X-rated hero, found that they were finally getting some use of their emergency fostering license and wanted to know their little special kid. He also had some offer to make both of them. Although Shouta was terrified of what Nezu's meeting Izuku could imply, he knew that it would be good to get a recommendation letter for him to get the kid into school. At some point it was bound to happen, but he didn't think Izuku was quite ready yet. He thought about a special needs school, but it would probably be a bad idea if they wanted to get him talking again. They would wait patiently, and even if it did not happen, it was worth the try. He needed exposure to people out of his comfort zone. Not yet, though. They arrived at the mall at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, just to ensure that there wouldn't be a ton of people. It was his first outing, after all. The greenie seemed a lot happier since realizing he had a quirk, and although Shouta was happy, he wouldn't have to go through the hardships of being quirkless. He was also a bit sad that his happiness depended on it. He is a smart kid, but he was probably berated for being quirkless, and then for being quirked. He had it rough, and he deserved the happiness he had now. Shouta just wished he never had to go through it in the first place. Maybe he could ask Nezu for quirk counseling. A stress-induced quirk would definitely need it. They stopped at the closest parking space. The mall was semi-empty, but they could still notice the kid getting nervous by the second. Shouta turned back to talk to Izuku, who was struggling with the seatbelt. Maybe they needed a car seat. At what age do kids stop using those? Izuku. He called to get his attention. We are here to get you some necessary and some not so necessary things, his husband added, interrupting him. Anyways, the black-haired man said, that means that if at any point you want to leave, we leave, okay? Izuku opened his mouth, then closed it and nodded. Weird. Same goes for things. If you see anything you want or need, let us know. He nodded again, and then got out of the car. They started with the absolute necessities. A few sets of sheets, cleaning supplies, and personal hygiene. Who would have known that curly hair needed such maintenance? Hisashi went a little insane in the clothes, and had to be reminded that the kid had the final word. At some point, they noticed that the kid didn't ask for anything, and later on discovered him watching price tags on things they asked him to try on. It was heartbreaking to know the kid saw himself as an expense, and would just not pick anything for himself. They gave him a pep talk that only seemed to work for 2 items, so they paid close attention to what he touched or looked at for a bit longer. It seemed to help if they got something for themselves too. They got him a bit too many clothes, but it couldn't be helped. He barely had anything that wasn't borrowed from the heroes, and it melted their hearts seeing him smile in other heroes' merch. A real fan, per se. As they were looking at different types of shoes, it took them both by surprise to see the kid looking fondly at some glittery red, clunky shoes. They were clearly marketed at girls, but it seems he just enjoyed red shoes in general, as it was normally the color he looked at. When asked if he wanted to try them on, he pretended he didn't know what they were talking about. So Hisashi had to get a matching glittery yellow pair to help him understand that there was nothing wrong there. Shoes are just that. Shoes. And if Shouta felt left out and got black ones too, well, time went on insanely fast after that. It seems the glittery family shoes got the no judgment message across. They decided to make a stop to eat something near the smaller shops. Something catches Izuku's attention so badly that he took off running, scaring the absolute shit out of them. Not that a kid was in any way faster than two pros, but still. After following him, it was kind of funny seeing him so excited at a small merch store. It looked like general merch too, not just hero related. And the shop window didn't exactly look especially interesting for kids, so it was hard to know what grabbed his attention. He stayed in front of it until they both caught up to him. He had a shiny look on his face and politely asked to go in. There was no discussion there. With that expression, Shouta was sure the kid would ask for the whole shop, and Mike would sell the car if necessary to buy it. Izuku went in and didn't even pretend to look interested in things. He went straight to the counter and climbed on top of it, clapping a few times on a weird repetitive pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Izuku! Mike was the first one to react. He took him by both armpits and held him up, letting him rest on his hip. "We can't go climbing in stores, honey," he added, looking embarrassed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. The same patter of clapping was heard from the back, and heavy steps were followed by the appearance of an old lady. The lady looked around, and her eyes stoned in tears at the sight of the kid. "Izu, good lord, I thought something happened to you." She quickly walked up to them, and the kid struggled to get out of Mike's embrace. "Oh my, you look amazing, and hello there." She fixed her glasses and watched the confused couple. "I'm Nima. Nice to meet you. And you are..." They both had to admit it was definitely odd seeing a woman so old look at them with such mistrust. Was she someone from Izuku's life before he started living with them? We are his foster family." Even weirder was Mike sounding unsure of himself. "We are Izuku's parents." And what a surprise those words are coming from the underground hero. "May we ask, where do you know Izuku from?" The lady, Nima, took a look at Izuku. The kid looked healthier and so happy. There was no denying he had a deep affection for those men, let alone the fact that they had bags full of kids' toys and clothes. "Oh, Izu, I'm so happy for you, hun." And she truly looked the part. God, she looked about to burst into tears even. "Last time I saw you was, what, 2 months ago?" Izuku smiled, and the lady touched his hair affectionately. That alone showed a deep trust from the kid. "Your hair is so soft now, too. I'm sorry if I was rude. Would you like to have some tea?" And it was nice. So really nice to know someone from his past life who talked about Izuku on a personal level. It really gave them some perspective about what his life was before them. They learned something that the hospital police records didn't have, and it was the first time they suspected the abuse he suffered was not only from his home life. That day, they learned about his former school, and about someone else, Kachan. Maybe Nezu could actually help with more than just a recommendation letter. Alright, the first thing I want to talk about is Izuku's, when he opened his mouth to reply and then closed it and then, didn't reply with like verbal reply. That shows so much. That little moment, as small as it was and as it was never mentioned again in this chapter. It's small and it's little, but it's those small little moments where instinctively he was gonna go reply verbally, right? Which is something meaning that, he truly, truly is trusting of, these two. And considering that, what's it called? Nima? Yeah. Nima, there you go. Nima mentions the fact that she hasn't seen Izuku in 2 months, means Izuku's probably been with them for like a week and a half, or not a week and a half, like a month and a half, or maybe even 2 months completely. So Izuku has been with the care of Hisashi and Aizawa for a while now, and it shows in the fact that Izuku literally is like, don't get me wrong, Nima also was there for Izuku, but these two were there for Izuku. These two were teaching Izuku that he can eat with the adults. He can talk with them. He can have nice things like glittery shoes and toys and clothes and not have to worry about the fact that, you know, he's a burden. You know, they literally showed him the fact that no, he is not cursed. He just has a quirk, and even though that quirk is destructive, it does not mean that it's bad. And he's really learning, you know, a lot, and learning to be okay with himself in the care of obviously these two gay men. These two gay men. I'm saying it like a homophobic person. These two gay men. Ugh, the homosexuals. The homosexuals and their homo sapien agenda. Sorry, my homophobic self just came out there, my bad. But no, it really shows the progression that Izuku's having, and I really do like that moment. Same with the fact that I do like the fact that Izuku is checking the prices. Although he had that moment where he was about to speak and he's comfortable enough to like almost speak, right? He has moments where he's like, okay, price tag? No, that's too expensive. I want it, but that's too expensive. We don't even get to see his perspective. We just see that he's looking at price tags and he's not really asking for things, right? And that shows. That really, really shows the whole, as I've been saying, healing is not a linear process. I'm not gonna, you know, go on a whole rant about it again, but this really shows the fact that, you know, healing is not a linear process. And healing isn't even just one simple process. There is branches. There is branches. Izuku might have been healed from thinking that his quirk is a curse. That does not mean that he's healed from not wanting to talk. That does not mean that he's healed from thinking that he's worthless. That's not saying that he's healed from thinking that just because he wants or needs something, he can't have it because it's too expensive or whatever. We're talking about a kid who had to function on, okay, how much does this cost? Can I live with this without this? Right? This is a kid on a survival basis, right? This kid wasn't a kid. This kid was surviving. This kid wasn't living, he was surviving. He was a survivor, right? He was going off of survival instincts, off of, okay, how long can I go without food? How long can I go without water? So to get given all this out of nowhere, it's really bombarding. And he's not going to be able to heal from that as quickly as other stuff, right? And as I said, even healing from his stomach, that's another branch. Healing to be able to eat a normal amount, you know? Healing health-wise and no longer being malnourished and looking his age and actually having the body weight that you're supposed to have at a young age like him, right? There's a bunch of stuff that healing is not linear in the sense that it's not just, you know, a straight path. And it's also not linear in the sense that it's not just one path. No, you are healing different things. There is branches. You're not just healing one thing. It is an overall thing, but you're not just healing one thing. He might be getting healed over the fact that he, you know, like talking, and he might have taken a step today, but he's still in the same place he was when it comes to price tags, right? And it shows. It really does. But I'm happy to see Nima again. I like Nima. We love Nima here in this household. Nima, let's go. And I'm glad that, you know, they are aware of, you know, the treatment that Izuku went through at school and this Kachan character, which obviously we know who that Kachan is, but the next chapter is called To the Principal's Office. So I want Nezu to burn the world. Nezu burn the world. Nezu burn the... I love fanfictions with Nezu and Izuku, and Nezu's like, here, Izuku. Let's burn the world together, right? Not necessarily in a villain-esque type of thing, but in a sense of like, look, I think Nezu is a neutral, chaotic character, kind of leaning towards chaotic evil. Mainly because, you know, of what happened to him, so it makes sense. It's like in the in-between of chaotic neutral and chaotic evil, right? It's like leaning. Man's chooses. Man's every day wakes up and he... Oh, I'm getting a call. And he chooses whether to be violent or not. Alright, well, yeah, I just really want to see Nezu take down the school, you know, get some revenge and much needed closure for our green bean here. for my son. Oh, sorry. Eraser mics, and I'm going to take them from you two. You two gay men, I'm gonna take him from you. He's my son. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server is down in the description. Subscribe. Oh, also some other social medias of mine. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.